Hey everyone, and thanks a lot for tuning into the video. I just want to start off before we get into the meat and the bones of the topic today. We have broke past the 800 mark and we're staring down the barrel of the magic 1000. If you're new around here and you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you've been watching a bunch of the videos, I know there's plenty of you out there, and you're enjoying the stuff that we do, please like and share and retweet and like the tweets and all that stuff, guys. Just helps spread the message, yeah, and the exposure of the channel and the videos that we do. Thanks a lot, guys, and let's get stuck into it. So, as you will have seen on the title of the video, we're talking about January targets, January developments, okay? And the first player I want to really have a wee chat about is, this will be a name I'm sure will be familiar with most football fans, but it's our man here, Jarrod Bowen, okay? Now, as you can see, we're live here. You look in the top right, I don't hold any, of course. I very rarely hold anyone that we talk about in the videos. If you are new around here, this is impartial market analysis and observations for someone to benefit from if I don't have the money to benefit from every idea I have. So the first one's Jarrod Bowen. It's not exactly rocket science. If we have a look at his stats and figures, you'll see he's been absolutely blowing it away for Hull this year as well. Now, last year he had a really good season, and I actually bought him for a short time in the summer because I thought this guy he's a Premier League player. Hull are mid-table. They were changing manager last season. They had the Russian guy, didn't they? Then did they have Nigel Adkins? And, so, anyway, they seemed to be all over the place last year. The guy still did really well, and a bit of a breakout season for him. And then this year, the transfer never really went through, and I don't know why, it's just one of those odd ones. Nobody really seemed to put concrete money on the table for him. But what you've got to ask yourself is who's going to buy him, okay? Now, if you look at his stats, the key passes and chances created are pretty big, because when you look at the Championship as a table, Hull are not doing that well, 32 goals scored. And again, if we look at our man Bowen, 14 goals, 4 assists, so the guy's contributing half of that team's goals, or more than half just in terms of their contributions. So without him, they're definitely going to be down the lower end of this table, certainly. So he's really propping them up. So number one, Hull are going to demand money because they know it's going to put them in a very weak position, and replacing a player like that is not going to be too easy given the current situation they're in. They're not a Premier League team, they're not strong looking in the Championship fighting for promotion. There's no real reason for him, number one, to stay, and number two, there's not real much hope for Hull doing anything spectacular this year if he was to bail on them. Don't get me wrong, points wise they're in touching distance of the playoff spots, but if you have a look at how much of a contribution is coming from one player, it's pretty remarkable. Now, what you then also have to do is look at the Premier League and think who's going to buy this guy, who's going to pick him up. Okay, now there's a lot of cases to be made for a lot of these clubs to be interested in him. Okay, but what you've then got to marry that up with is previous history of shopping in the Championship, and other things like stability in the club, the manager, the scouting department, all that type of thing. Okay, now there's a couple of names here that really jump out to me, okay, and I'll touch on them briefly. You might agree or disagree, that's neither here nor there. The top of the tree one, your best case scenario is Leicester, okay? Good history of shopping in the Championship. Last year they had Harvey Barnes on loan at West Brom, I think it was, and they recalled him in January on the basis of his Championship performances. And again, even when they were in the Championship themselves, they bought Vardy from the Conference. So that whole club, they have previous for shopping lower down the pyramid, if you like, and bringing them upwards. So Leicester, I think, is really your best case scenario. You might put Man United in there as well, having signed Daniel James in the summer, and their need for another striker, another forward player to add to the whole Martial and Rashford conundrum, and the real depth that they're lacking up there since selling Lukaku. Would Man United be happy with a Jarrod Bowen signing? I don't think the fans would throw a fanfare, certainly, but the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talks, it wouldn't really surprise me, given he's after this whole young, British, hungry kind of thing. Tottenham, if it was anyone but Mourinho, I'd probably say they're in with a shout. He'd probably be quite happy to sit on their bench under Harry Kane and get the minutes when he can and develop that way. But then the main ones I look at is your kind of mid-table teams here. So really from Bournemouth to Palace, that whole chunk, that's where I really see, especially people really going and trying to, the best teams you could end up at, and they're also likely to be placing bids and going for them, So what does that then translate into Football Index? Well, how much is he now? £1.67. If he was to end up at Bournemouth, Everton, Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle or Palace, does that really make him more appealing? Does it really make him more valuable? And that's up to you, you know. Yes or no, it's up to you. You fill in the blank on that one. Now, I can tell you from previous history, the transfer alone is unlikely to win media buzz once, never mind twice or 3 times or whatever, just the way media goes in general. Don't get me wrong, they might finish second or third, maybe a day or two, but a transfer like this is not going to be... So if you're thinking, oh, buy the transfer for the media that will come, the media is not going to come on something like this very heavy. You know, it's going to be maybe third place and second place, and then second place and then third place. You know, it's maybe what you're going to get at best, but you're not going to be winning top media for a week on end or anything like that. So you've got to marry that up. Now, for his price now, if he was to end up at one of those kind of more realistic options, then I don't think he really presents much value unless you see him quickly stepping on. Maybe, let's say, even went to somebody like a Southampton, and he went and he banged in a bunch of goals for them. Could you see somebody like a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Man United or a Wolves or a Tottenham or somebody, Leicester, whatever, coming and picking him up from them in the summer? That's quite possible, of course, as well. But it's a lot of ifs and buts, guys, okay? But he's definitely somebody who I would be very surprised if he didn't make a move in January, given the situation about everything around him, his form, his credentials. And, you know, there's a lot of teams looking for strikers. You know, Newcastle are needing goals. Burnley are always looking to add. You know, they've got Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes and Vokes, you know, but, you know, in Brighton, you know, they're doing pretty well, but they want to strengthen. Everton are lacking. Bournemouth are lacking. And Palace are lacking if they sell Zaha, you know. Again, they could sell Zaha and they could fund Bo in part, you know, or something like that. Now, the next one is someone who I've had my eye on for a little while, and I did a tweet about this recently, but I won't go into it in too much detail, but basically the long and short of it is I asked you guys, the community, to give me some fresh names, some fresh faces, because you do find yourself looking and looking and looking at the same teams, the same leagues, the same players, looking for value, and sometimes you just don't see the wood for the trees. And somebody brought this guy to my attention at like 79 pence, 80 pence, something like that in the summer, and I thought the guy looks amazing. And if you look at his stats from last year, you know, they were very attractive in terms of chances created, dribbles completed, you know, very, very appealing. But I thought I've not really got the patience for somebody in a non-PB league who might take another year or two to mature, FI-wise and real-world-wise. But he's been on, he's been capped by the Dutch national team, he's doing really well in the Europa League, and yeah, he's had a great season. Now, the thing about Alkmaar is they are still in the Europa League and they will be going through to the latter stages. Last time I checked the little table for them, let's even check it now if we can. Yeah, along with my, yeah, so they're home and host, they're going through to the next round. Now, that means that, you know, because he's in the Dutch national team, I can see it being a kind of a semi, like Naby Keita situation, if you remember that with Liverpool. A team might just come in and sign him now, knowing he's going to go to the Euros, knowing he's going to have a decent enough cup run in the Europa League with AZ Alkmaar, and maybe just want to beat the crowd. And, you know, I'm talking about real world here, people might try and go and buy him sooner rather than later and snap him up in January. If that's a Champions League team, they'd probably insist, they'd probably want to transfer over and actually play Champions League football second half of the year. That could be in Italy, it could be in Spain, Germany, England, France, could be anywhere, okay? Or maybe even Ajax, or you know, that's not impossible, certainly. So, but this guy is somebody who is valued quite heavily on FI at the moment. Traders have him valued in at 209, and, you know, he's good bang for buck at his age and his potential that he's showing already. He's not one of these youth players that you get on IPO where it's like, oh, he's did amazing for, like, you know, the PSV under the 16s for the last 2 years or whatever. He's somebody who in the senior team for a couple of seasons in the Eredivisie has got good numbers, he's shown that in Europe, and he's broke into the senior national team, you know. So this is somebody who could go anywhere, and again, if he had a move in January, it would not surprise me at all. Now, at £2.9, where has he really got to go for you to see value in that? He's got to be going to a Champions League team, he's got to be going to a Liverpool, a Man City, a Bayern Munich, a Real Madrid, an Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, of course. You know, he's got to be going PSG, you know, these top end teams, for that value to really hold. If he stays at AZ for the rest of the season, he still holds good value, because going to the Euros in the summer with Holland, and even playing a bit part, you know, if he shares that role with Bergwijn or Justin Kluivert, you know, he's still got enough of a stage to show the world. And Football Index, guys, is so instantaneous. So if somebody comes off the bench at the Euros in a quarter-final, scores a match-winning goal, they might not win PB that day, but then the hype train goes in the media, he's been linked with all these teams, and then Football Index follows suit, and you'd see his price rocket off the back of that. And if you even look at the last Yeah, basically this graph here, from when he's went from £1.20 all the way up here, that was off the back of winning a PB, I think it was, for Holland against Estonia, I think, when you've seen his form there. So again, young, exciting players are very valuable in the index, and the way his little price has been going now, do you know, between, I did a tweet today about Nathan Ake, if you want to go check that out, check my Twitter, at QTanklan. But sometimes the media breaks, guys, and before you know it, you've missed an opportunity. But over the Christmas period, after we get the Champions League fixtures, the Europa League fixtures done and dusted this week, there will be a boredom set upon a certain stage of the market. People will instant sell because of the obvious festive periods. People will be chasing the Premier League money. All the money will be Premier League over the summer, especially Boxing Day fixtures and that type of thing. So you'll find people that will quick sell and instant sell out of positions that are stagnant or non-active over a period of time to jump on something else and then maybe come back to them later on. So that's quite possible. You could maybe if you hold your water, catch him in at sub £2, and at which point I'd say that's a good price also, given everything we've just spoke about. And the third man here, I dipped in and out of him the other Sunday there. He got a goal. He was in the early kickoff, 11:30. I bought him at 192 and sold him at like 211 or something like that. Yeah, this little spike here. A wee while ago, Dejan Kulusevski. Now, this guy got a big rise after being mentioned on the Jim White show one day on TalkSport, and he's doing exceptionally well for Parma. His first real season in senior football of any real note, and by all accounts, he's putting the world to light. He's doing amazing. Key passes, chances created, incredible. Especially for our Serie A. Serie A is a really a bum league when it comes to PB and just football index in general. I know we've had some winners, Pjanic and Sensi and Mobile and Ronaldo, Dybala. Some guys that have done well, but overall Serie A is the bottom league for FI holds. Now, this guy is on loan from Atalanta, okay, so this becomes a bit tricky. Now, this is a guy, Connor at FI Manager, I was messaging him, I message him quite, fairly frequently, but me and him, when we were talking about videos in the summer, I was saying to him, I want to find the next Piaczek. I want to find the next guy who nobody knows, nobody's ever heard of, and by Christmas, he's scored like 20 goals for a crap team, and he's getting a January transfer to a bigger team and carrying that form on. And I scrimped and I scraped, and I looked about everywhere, and this guy is kind of really, for me, he's this year's Piaczek. He's not quite got the numbers of Piaczek, of course, but he's been linked to some big teams. Now, this is where the difficult part comes in, right? He's at Parma. Parma have no say if he goes or whatever. The holding team, if they want to sell him, then they can and they will. That holding team is Atalanta. Now, Atalanta, from my perspective, at this moment in time, is a slight gamble on what you think they're going to do. Their last game is against Shakhtar Donetsk. City are away to Zagreb. City are home and host. And it's really between those other three who's getting knocked out, who goes in the Europa League, and who carries on with the Champions League. Now, I made a joke about it before, but I don't think it would really be allowed to pan. Oh no, it could actually, it could. So if Zagreb lose to City and Atalanta beat Shakhtar, then Atalanta and Shakhtar both go through, but it would of course mean that Shakhtar would go into the Europa League rather than the Champions League. So they're really in a no-lose position, Shakhtar, and they've been a bit funny this year. They've not quite got the same players they have. There's been a bit of a racism around Ukraine. Obviously, it's a war zone anyway. But Atalanta, So anyway, my point is, they could recall Kulusevski if they were to remain in the Champions League especially, and go, right, listen, we need you for this, and he would be more than happy, I'm sure, to go back to his parent club where he's been brought through the youth ranks and done incredibly well if you look at his stats there, and have some sort of Champions League stint before going with Sweden to the Euros. Now, he's featured in the Sweden national team throughout the Euro qualifiers. Not too much, it's only been a couple of sub-appearances, a few caps, but of course as he develops this year and does better, that will increase. If Atalanta qualify for the Europa League, that might still happen, but there's been rumours of Man United and a few other clubs been sniffing about them, so there's always the chance of a Champions League club coming in and picking them up. And if they were to be knocked out entirely, then they might just want to sell them and just take the money on them, type of thing. Because they were in a similar situation last year with Zapata. They had Zapata on loan from Sampdoria. He did exceptionally well. They had a buy-in clause in the contract, and they went and done that. So I think it really depends a lot on if Atalanta qualify for the Champions League. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the thing with me talking about this January transfers is you want to be seeing people whose circumstances might change. Now, this guy is at Parma and he's only playing, domestic football. If in January it turns out, let's say Wednesday night, Tuesday night, whenever night it is, Atalanta beat Shakhtar and they go into the knockout rounds of the Champions League. And then this guy goes from being on loan at Parma to being starting or in amongst the squad at Atalanta in a Champions League team. He's also qualified for the Euros. He's young and exciting, and he's on the radar of a lot of big clubs in Europe. 19 years of age, and as the market trades him now at 232, is he good value? In that situation, playing and starting for Atalanta, which is not too far stretch off the imagination, then I don't really see him being too different price-wise. Now, understand this, price-wise, to some of the guys that are in the kind of 350 bracket. You know, £3 plus certainly anyway. Your Fodens, your Nabrys, your Havertz's, Fati, Odegaard, he's in the same ballpark as all these guys if he's playing Champions League football with Atalanta. Now, if he transfers in the summer to a new team, then you might lose a little bit of value because the potential for media goes away a little bit. But if it is to the Premier League, then it's only going to increase because the potential for media is going to increase, of course, because he's going to be on the stage in front of us all every week playing, you know, Premier League football as well as potentially Champions League football, and then Euros with Sweden as well. Okay, so we'll be continuing this, guys. There'll be a little kind of mini series where we're talking about people we expect to put, you know, where we think have the potential at the very least to be changing their circumstances in January. Okay, now what that may mean, we'll discuss on individuals as and when we discuss them. But this has been the first feed, guys. If you're new around here, like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning into the video. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.